Somewhere.
Are you ready for your speaking test?
Yes, sure.
Okay, can I see your ID card?
Yes, please.
Okay. So first of all, I'll like to ask you some question about your personal information. First, your name, your occupation. Are you a student or are you working?
So my full name is Nguyễn Đăng Đạt.
Okay.
I'm 17 years old and I'm currently a student in Lào Cai High School for the Gifted Students. And tell something about myself, I would say I am a person of debates, and especially debating in Vietnam, my just very new hobby for the recent time. Debate is a kind of thing that we can do just not just in school but in personal life. You can have a better logical way of thinking and some very basic info about myself.
Okay, so let's move on to the part one of the speaking test.
Yes.
So I'd like to ask you some questions. First question is, what do you remember about your first school when you was a child?
When I was a child, I was like a very big boy at that time, and still now. That school was quite near my house, so I just went to school on foot. And that was not kind of a school that every student at that time would go to. It was small, it was less qualified comparing to other schools in Lào Cai city at that time. But I chose that school just because I think that when they have a limited number of students, they would focus more. So I think that that was the reason I chose the school, and I was surrounded with many happy students and like qualified and beloved teachers at that time.
Okay, so in what way did life at school change as you became older?
Can you make it clear?
So it's like comparing your high school self with your elementary self?
Of course, I think that education is something that would change people a lot. And when you were a kind of primary student, you think like that easy, like that just something about school and work, school and parents and home. But when you became older, with education teach you with a lot of things about not just about school things, but also about the life skills or the relationship between friends and teachers, friends and students, and all of that kinds will make you have more specific view about the future, about what you're going to do at the present time and for the in the foreseeable time.
Okay, so do you have your favorite subject?
I would say I used to like maths because I think maths would sharpen my logical way of thinking. It's not just about the finding the final answer, but it's also about how you think from the A to the B and how that would work in the real life. But when I came to Lào Cai High School for the Gifted, my favorite subject was English, as I think that English will definitely play a very important role in the future. So I chose that subject, not just my passion, but it also will be beneficial for my future career.
Okay, so let's move on to part two.
Yes.
Part two, you have 1 minute to prepare for your talk, and then you have 2 minutes to present your talk. So here's your topic. You have to describe a place that has some kind of special meaning to you. And here's your paper and your pen, and you have just 1 minute to prepare. Can you start? Your time start now. So your time is over.
Okay.
Are you ready to talk?
Yes. Can I have the timekeeper?
Okay, yes, I have the timer here. Okay.
So when you say that, I would describe a special place to me in my life. I would say that would be home, because that sometimes we travel, sometimes we go to work, sometimes we go to study, and maybe that we would forget who we are, and we forget that we are how loved, how love would save you from many problems in life. And I think that home is somewhere that you can find, you can come back, and you will be loved unconditionally by your parents, and you will be surrounded by a lot of memories about the past of the childhood, and that will a pill of relief that will save your problems, will solve your problems probably. And to describe my home, that was a very, it's not really large, but it's not really small. It's kind of normal to a lot of, like a lot of homes and houses in Laogai City, but it was surrounded with animals, with many friendly neighbors in the town. And my parents loved that house very much. We have lived there for 11 years, and we have built up a lot of memories, built up a lot of beautiful moments there. And when I come back home, I just feel that this is where we were born. This is where I would came for. And I think that like a lot of stories, Alice in Wonderland, right? She could go on a whole adventure, but at the end of the day, what she wants the most is that to come back home and to be loved by her parents, to be surrounded by what she wants, and just like a escaping mechanism for her whole life. So I think that home is what I want the most in my life.
Okay, perfect time.
Yes.
Okay. So you moved to the part 3 of the speaking test.
Yes.
And as part of the part 3, I'll ask some questions relating to what you have just said. So why do you think people leave home when they are quite young?
So in your perspective, how young can be defined?
I think that when they're 18, they're legal adults.
I think that it's just like a very basic rule of the whole society. When people they are young, 18 is not young anymore. They have the right to vote. They have the right to having driving license. And in some countries they have the right to drink, right? So I think 18 is not young anymore, and they have the full-fledged citizens' right to go anywhere they want and to be fully passionate about what they want. So it's just like they have feel that they have potential, or they have full conditions to do what they want. Because if they just stay at home, they will be limited by some kind of ways of the parents think, or what really is familiar with them. And I think it's not really good in the context of today's world.
Okay, so in your culture, is it normal to leave your home when you're 18?
Back in the day, I think in the past it was not really normal, because parents think that the children, even they are 18, they're still very small, they still need to be taught or be controlled by the parents. But I think in the societies today, it just become the norm of young people to live even younger than 18. They still, if they want, they still have the right to tell the parents that what they want to do, and how the act of leaving their home will benefit them when they choose the career or they choose to work in another place. I think that has just not gradually became the norm.
So what about the benefits of leaving your home early, of staying on your feet from a young age?
As I mentioned before, when you're living in such too familiar surroundings, what you think will just relating to it, what you want to do, it just relate to it. And in today's world, people need to change their way of thinking, and how they can change. They just meet more people, they watch new things, they go to new places, and that will just fulfill their life with more experiences and more knowledge they can gain from others. And so that's the benefit of leaving home at a very young age, because when you are young, you're very curious to learn, you have the potential to learn the best. And as we become older, the ability to learn just gradually decreases into some circumstances. So I think that would be the benefits of leaving home at a young age.
When, in your opinion, when you leave home at a young age, what
Yes.
sort of qualities do you have?
Young age, they have the curiosity. So I think that they need to have the curiosity. If they don't have that, they will just come out, go out there and just don't know what to do. They don't have any passion. So they have to be curious about something that they want to do it the most. Then they will have to find a way to learn it, find a way to conquer it, achieve it at the end of the day. And others, they have to be determined. I mean that if they don't, they just see life as something will take the whole energy from them, and they don't have anything else to do, and they likely to lose track when they want to conquer something. And I think that curiosity and determination will be the cornerstone for young people to leave their home.
Okay, that was an excellent performance, and this is the end of the test.
Also, thank you.
Okay.